All right, 7th and 8th grade science students, this is the organelle overview data table. We're going to go through the steps that you need to accomplish in order to fill out this really useful summary tool that's going to give you an idea of what each of the organelles does and how they function together to make your cells work in your body right now. It's pretty exciting. So the first step is to check your email, and you will see an email from me that says Organelle Overview, Student Name 2012. If you open that up, there's a shared document that it will take you to. So I'm going to click on that. And it opens up this beautiful table right here. Do not start typing in this data table. I repeat, do not start typing in this data table. We need to do one other step first. So see my cursor? I'm going to move my mouse up to the file. I'm going to go down to make a copy. Let's see if I can make this a little bit more viewable. There we go, make a copy. I'm going to click on that right there. Then I'm going to type in the new name. So I'm going to take out this part where it says copy of. I don't want that anymore. And I want it to say Organelle Overview. Instead of student name, you're going to type in your name, first and last. So I'm going to type in an example name. And now we're ready to go. So I'm going to press OK. And this new document with the student name belongs to that person. So if you were the one writing your name in, that now belongs to you. And this is where you're going to start typing in the Organelle Overview data table. So the first thing we need to figure out is, what are organelles? And you may copy all of the things that I'm writing right now. So organelles are small structures, make sure you have correct spelling, in cells that have specific jobs they do for the cell. If you have a different definition that you would like to do, that is acceptable, but you can also just copy mine right here. So organelles, those are the small structures in the cell. And we know from our organism organization chart that they are inside of the cell. They're kind of like mini organs. They do all of the jobs that keep the cell alive. Okay, so here's the step-by-step process. First, we're going to type in the name of the organelle, and we're going to start with the nucleus because it's right in the middle. It's the biggest organelle that we can see, and it's really important. Now I'm going to type in a description of the nucleus. I'd like you guys to type in this exact description. So the nucleus contains the DNA, the deoxyribonucleic acid, which is a set of instructions that directs all cell functions. So whether the cell is making hair for your head or making acid for your stomach, the DNA is directing all of that function. It is found, so the nucleus, I should say nucleus instead of it. You guys would tell me that. The nucleus is found in the center of the cell and is usually, not always, but usually, the largest organelle that you see. Okay, so that's our mini description of the nucleus. Now we're going to do an analogy. So we're going to say what it's like. And you can do analogies with anything in the world or in the universe. I'm going to choose to do an analogy with DMS. Here at DMS. So the nucleus, it's this instructions, it directs all the cell functions. So to me, I'm thinking that's kind of like Simon. So I'm going to say it's like, and then I'm going to type in Simon at DMS because he directs all of the student and teacher activities, just like the nucleus directs all of the activities in the cell. Okay, so that's my analogy about what the nucleus is like at DMS. You can choose anything else, or you can also just copy mine. That is acceptable. Now I've got to find a picture. So I'm going to go up to a Google page, and you can see what I was looking at before. I'm going to type in nucleus. And I've typed in the images, so I'm looking specifically for images, and I'm going to find one that I like. And you know what? I'm kind of thinking this one here at the top. Looks pretty darn good to me. So you can copy it however you like. I like to press Control and then right-click, go to Copy Image. And then I'm going to go back to my Google Doc. And I'm going to paste this in here. So how I'm going to paste this, I'm going to press Command V to paste it in there. But you can also go up to the Edit button and just say Paste too. And oh, it's telling me I have to do Command V. So Command V. My image is coming up. Whoa, it's too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, see I've got the boxes to resize it. I'm just going to resize this so it fits into my table. And voila, now I've got my picture of the nucleus, I've got my analogy about what it's like, and I've got my description of the nucleus. We're ready to move on to the next organelle. And remember, this is a video, so you can pause. If I'm going too fast, you can pause this video so you can type in all of this information, and you're all set. Okay, so the next organelle I'm going to look at is going to be the endoplasmic reticulum, and here's why. So when I look at a picture of the cell, I'm starting from the center and I'm going to move out. And notice how the next thing that's outward from the nucleus is the endoplasmic reticulum, this kind of set of passageways around the cell. So that's what the next organelle I'm going to be focusing on. Notice how it's in the animal cell. So this is an animal cell. It has the flagella, just like a sperm. And here's a plant cell, and notice how in a plant cell it's the same thing. Here's the nucleus, and then here's the endoplasmic reticulum right outside of the nucleus, those passageways that lead around the cell. So I'm going to go back to my data table, and I'm going to type in endoplasmic reticulum. And notice how it didn't have enough space for that, so it moved it down to the second line. I'm going to see if I can actually fix that by moving over my columns a little bit. There we go. Okay, so endoplasmic reticulum. This is the ER. I'm abbreviating it because a lot of websites will abbreviate it for you, and a lot of scientists, they abbreviate that too. Okay, surrounds the nucleus and is a network. Oops, I didn't spell surrounds correct. And is a network of passageways through which molecules, like proteins that make up your hair, travel. So the ER surrounds the nucleus and is a network of passageways through which molecules travel. There's two kinds. The rough ER has ribosomes on its surface. And the smooth ER, like its name suggests, is smooth. It does not have ribosomes on its surface. Okay, so there is my description of the endoplasmic reticulum. So the next step is I need to make an analogy, what it's like. So if Simon's like the nucleus, he directs everything. I got to figure out what's like the ER, what is like a passageway that things travel around on. So I'm thinking about it as the roads, like the road that is right by my classroom. So the roads at Dunn School are like the ER because people and vehicles use the roads to travel. Just like molecules and proteins use the ER to travel inside of the cell. Okay, you got it. The next step is to find a picture of the ER. So I'm going to go back to where I was looking up nucleus, and I'm going to type in endoplasmic reticulum. And notice how it tells me, yep, we know what you're talking about there. Wow, lots of different pictures of endoplasmic reticulum. Ooh, that one has the smooth and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Let's see, which one do I want? Ooh, look at this one. This one is the endoplasmic reticulum in a real cell. Wow, that's really cool. I think I want to choose that one. So I'm going to copy this image, and I go back to my data table, and I'm going to paste this image into my data table. Oops, it's a little too big. So I'm going to resize it again, just like I did for the nucleus. There we go. So now I've got a picture, a real microscope picture of the ER in my data table. So now that you know how to do this part of the data table, I'm going to show you just the words that I have typed. And remember, you can pause the video to type up these words. So I'm going to do it quickly so that we don't waste a lot of time on the video, but then you can pause the video so you can type up the words into your data table.